hereby directed to call a regular session of the City Council to be held on Monday, March 3rd, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. in the historic Federal Building for the purpose of conducting such business that may properly come before the City Council.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to a regular session of the Dubuque City Council for March 3rd, 2025. As a reminder to our participants, you can provide in-person input or virtual audio and written input during the sections of the agenda where public input is accepted. Input options during the live meeting include in-person attendees may approach the podium when the mayor asks if there is any public input on the item they would like to speak to. Remote attendees can log into GoToMeeting using the login links, phone numbers, and access code that appear on the broadcast and live stream and posted on the front page of the meeting agenda. This option includes audio input and written chat input. If you are participating via computer, indicate which item you would like to speak to in the chat function, or note that you would like to speak during the appropriate section. If you are participating via phone, indicate which item you would like to speak to during the appropriate section. All comments, whether in person or virtual, must be accompanied by a name and address. Additionally, written public input is accepted by contacting the City Council directly from the city's webpage at www.cityofdubuque.org/council-contacts and through the City Clerk's office email at ctyclerk@cityofdubuque.org. This information will be reiterated during the meeting. Attendance for the session is as follows. Mayor Kavanaugh.
Here.
Council members Farber.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Resnick.
Here.
Roussel.
Here.
Sprank.
Here.
Wethel.
Here.
City Manager Van Milligan.
Here.
And City Attorney Brumwell.
Here.
Thank you, Mayor Kavanaugh. I will turn it over to you for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Adrian. I invite all who are able to please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first proclamation this evening is Irish American Heritage Month.
Okay, I believe we have Jenny Feeney and Vicki Leonard here to accept this proclamation this evening. Or Jerry, sorry, Jerry. I saw Jenny. If you'd like to go up to the podium and say a few words first, and then I'll read the proclamation, and you can come accept it.
Hello all, thank you. I'm Jerry Feeney. I am the president of the Ancient Order of Hibernians. I realize that's a mouthful, just call us AOH. And we are here to promote our Irish heritage. We had two choices, today and March 17th. Do you really think I was gonna be here on March 17th? No. Anyway, we're here to promote our Irish Hoolie, which is an Irish music festival, which this year will be held Saturday, August 23rd at the Alliant Amphitheater at Stone Cliff Winery. Hope you can all make it, but yes, and we are promoting Irish music, Irish culture, Irish heritage. So with a name like Feeney, that fits pretty well with me. So anyway, I'll turn it over to Vicki.
Exactly what he said. My name is Vicki Leonard. I'm president of the Ladies Ancient Order of Hibernians, Division 1. We are the only division in the state of Iowa. We established several years ago, and so we are extraordinary that we're the only division. It is a national, international unit, and of course our motto is friendship, unity, and Christian charity. And exactly what Jerry says, we give back to the community and we promote a lot of things throughout the year, giving back. So we're really excited about this and we really appreciate you doing this for us.
Well, Jerry and Vicki, thank you very much for being here to accept this and for reminding me that I need to make sure that everybody knows I'm not going to be here on the 17th. With a name like Kavanaugh, you can't be coming to a city council meeting like a day like that. But thank you very much for being here for this month. And the Hoolie is just one of the best days of the year, every single year. So I'm very thankful that that you were able to. Hang on, we got to. We'll just take a moment here, just if we could, please let the police officers do their job. Let's take a moment here. We're just going to take a second and let things calm down, and we'll come back and be together. And I'll make sure to read the. Writing down a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and read this proclamation. So thanks again for being here. Really appreciate it. So, the City of Dubuque proclamation. Whereas the Irish heritage of the Dubuque area is an integral part of the community's character and identity, and whereas a celebration of St. Patrick's Day will be held by the Ancient Order of Hibernians, AOH, Dubuque Division Number 2, refounded in 2013, and the Lady AOH, Dubuque County Division Number 1, founded in 2017. And whereas Irish Americans have made an indelible mark on the history of Dubuque in the United States and the world. And whereas Irish Americans are proud of their deep cultural, historical, and familial ties that have contributed to the strength of our vibrant relationship with Ireland for more than 100 years. Now, therefore, I, Brad M. Kavanaugh, Mayor of the City of Dubuque, Iowa, on behalf of the City Council staff and residents of Dubuque, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2025 as Irish American Heritage Month in the City of Dubuque, Iowa, and ask the people of the Dubuque area to support this event and recognize the efforts of the Ancient Order of Hibernians, Dubuque County Division Number 2, and the Lady Ancient Order of Hibernians, Dubuque County Division Number 1. Come on up. Let's give him a hand. Just reading it wrong. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
There's a picture, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's all right. Thank you both.
Our second proclamation is Dubuque's Read Across America Week.
All right, and I think Beth Gorey is here. Welcome back, Beth.
I didn't know I was dressing for the occasion. Also an Irish woman, so yes. My name is Beth McGorry, and I am the Major Gifts Officer at St. Mark Youth in Richmond. And Read Across America Day is a week of bringing literacy to our kids every day. And with St. Mark, the goal is always to bring in amazing adults who love our kids, because we know that when you connect children to books, we don't repeat history. When we connect children to books, they catch on to ideas and maybe become the new, bigger, and better self. We know that when they connect with adults, they become better humans. And so I have a book to tell the little story of how it makes a difference. Dear Librarian by Lydia Sigworth. Dear librarian, may I tell you a story? It's about me, and it's about you, and it's about my library home. It happened when I was 5 years old. Me, my mom, and my dad, and my 5 big sisters and 1 baby brother all had to leave Colorado to go to Iowa, where Grandma was. My dad needed a new job, and we needed a new place to live. In Iowa, I missed my little blue house with the big maple tree. I missed my red roller skates packed away in a big truck. I missed my sunny backyard with lots of space to run and play. I missed my best friend, little Becca. But most of all, I missed having a home. In Iowa, I didn't have a home to just live in, just houses. 5 big sisters and 1 baby brother and a mom and a dad are a lot of people. So we lived in a lot of different places. Some days we lived at Aunt Linda's house. Aunt Linda had a pretty pink bathtub with fancy bubble baths. But Aunt Linda's house was full of nice things you shouldn't touch because they're not yours. Some days we lived at Cousin Alice's house. Cousin Alice had her own family to take care of, but she let us sleep on in her tiny, cozy basement. In Cousin Alice's basement, there was a big couch and a bouncy mattress. Every night was a giant sister sleepover. But even snuggly sleepovers was a little too crowded for all of us. Some days we stayed at Grandma's house. Grandma lived right by a park with swings and space to run and spin, but there weren't any friends at Grandma's house. Mom said it was very generous of everyone to let us live at their houses, but Grandma's house was a little too small. Aunt Linda's house was a little too nice, and Cousin Alice's house already had a family. Nowhere was home. Nowhere had a special spot just for me. Then one day, Mom took me and my big sisters and my 1 baby brother to a new place. Not a home, but a big building with stone columns and tall, tall steps. The library. There was a sunny window that took up a whole wall. There were rows and rows of books and baskets of toys and a puppet theater. There was so much to do and so much space to do it. At the window, I could watch the people on the street, or I could skip down the rows of books, or I could make up stories with my sisters. There was enough space at the library for all of us. Then I found the special spot just for me. Up the tall stairs across from the sunny window was a round desk. It was my favorite spot because behind that desk was my new friend. She had kind eyes, a gentle face, and laughed like bubbles. That friend was the librarian, and that librarian was you. She looked at me right in the eyes and listened to me like I was grown up. You helped me find a book about princesses, and then you sat down on the floor and you read to me. After that, Mom and Dad brought me to the library all the time. Every day you gave me a hug. Every day you made me feel safe and happy. Those days, the library was my home, my own special home, even though it wasn't a house. Later that year, my mom and dad and my five big sisters and my baby brother all went to live in a big brown home with a tall willow tree. I could zoom around on my red roller skates again, but I still visited my library home to be at my own favorite spot and read my books, and to be at home with you, my library friend. Now, my dear librarian, I'm all grown up, but I still go to the library every day because I'm a librarian just like you. You gave me a library home, so I wanted to make one too. For kids with little blue homes and big brown homes and no homes at all. So I did. This book is written by Asbury's own librarian, Lydia Sigworth, about the Carnegie Stout Public Library. So, with that.
Very cool. Thank you, Beth. We love having you come read to us at least once a year. It's just a great time.
Love to be read too. Love to be read. So do kids.
Well, I'm going to do some more reading now. So, City of Dubuque Proclamation. Whereas the residents of Dubuque, Iowa stand firmly committed to promoting reading as the catalyst for our students' future academic success, their preparation for America's jobs of the future, and their ability to compete in a global economy. And whereas St. Mark Youth in Richmond has provided significant leadership in the area of community involvement in the education of our youth, grounded in the principle that educational investment is key to the community's well-being and long-term quality of life. And whereas NEA's Read Across America, a national celebration of reading on March 2nd, 2025, promotes reading and adult involvement in the education of our community students. And whereas the Dubuque City Council calls on the residents of Dubuque to assure that every child is in a safe place reading together with a caring adult the week of March 2nd, 2025. And whereas this body enthusiastically endorses NEA's Read Across America and recommits our community to engage in programs and activities to make America's children the best readers in the world. Now, therefore, I, Brad M. Kavanaugh, Mayor of the City of Dubuque, Iowa, on behalf of the City Council staff and residents of Dubuque, do hereby proclaim the week of March 2nd, 2025 as Dubuque's Read Across America Week.
Our third proclamation is AmeriCorps Week.
All right. Jessica Andershaw and AmeriCorps members, I believe it says, so come on up. One or many? Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Hello.
Hello.
So, on behalf of the AmeriCorps members serving throughout the city, we are honored to accept the proclamation declaring AmeriCorps Week. Next week will provide us with a meaningful opportunity to recognize the dedication and service of AmeriCorps members across the nation, including those here in the community. Their commitment to improving lives and strengthening our community aligns with our shared values of service, compassion, and making a lasting impact. We extend our gratitude to the City Council for this recognition and look forward to continuing our work and making a difference. Additionally, I would like to extend our invitation to you all to join us during our celebratory programming throughout the week. I understand City Manager Van Milligan already shared the details with you, and we hope to see you there.
All right, well, Jessica, thank you so much for being here to accept this, and for everyone who came tonight to celebrate AmeriCorps. You know, AmeriCorps has been around for quite a while now and has made such an impact in this community. Every single year, it seems, there comes another attempt to either weaken the program or take it away in some way. I want you to know that you make Dubuque what it is. I mean, you being here and doing this work is just so incredibly important, and we value it. We definitely value it as a city council and just value it as members of the city of Dubuque. So thank you very much for all the work that you do.
Thank you.
City of Dubuque proclamation. Whereas service to others is a hallmark of the American character and has the unique ability to bring people of all backgrounds together in common cause. And throughout our history, residents have stepped up to meet our most pressing challenges of the day by volunteering in their communities. And whereas the City of Dubuque is a proud sponsor of members of diverse ages and backgrounds serving in AmeriCorps programs, who provide educational support to youth and mentor at-risk teens, AmeriCorps seniors who empower seniors to live independently, Green Iowa AmeriCorps members who engage and educate our community to become climate resilient, and Justice Advocate AmeriCorps members who provide free legal education and support services to low-income and vulnerable residents. And whereas AmeriCorps enriches the lives of its members, building habits that create active participants in civic matters affecting their communities long after their service terms are completed. And whereas AmeriCorps members demonstrate commitment, dedication, and patriotism by making an intensive commitment to service, a commitment that remains with them in their future endeavors. And whereas AmeriCorps programs bring people together across race, age, and zip code to address critical issues facing the country, forge relationships and cultivate mutual respect, and help build resilient and thriving communities. And whereas, through their service, AmeriCorps members strengthen the lives of their families, communities, and the city of Dubuque as a whole. And whereas AmeriCorps Week recognizes the dedication and commitment of the more than 1.3 million Americans who have chosen to serve their country through AmeriCorps and their community partners, and to encourage more Americans to follow their footsteps in service. Now, therefore, I, Brad M. Kavanaugh, Mayor of the City of Dubuque, Iowa, on behalf of the City Council, staff, and residents of Dubuque, do hereby proclaim the 9th through the 15th of March, 2025, as AmeriCorps Week in the City of Dubuque, and urge our community to thank AmeriCorps members and alumni for their service and to find their own ways to give back to our community. I guess we're doing a picture, huh? Yeah? Come on up. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming tonight.
I think last year we promised you guys cupcakes, so if you're available at the brunch on Friday.
The cupcakes this time. All right, perfect. All right, excellent. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. All right, I think we have one more, Adrian.
Yes, our final proclamation is Honeybee Day.
Okay. HR Cook, here with us with an even better shirt this year.
Just something I threw on.
Yeah, right.
Mayor, council members, thank you very much for having me again this evening. Honeybee Day in the city of Dubuque has been absolutely fantastic for the residents and everything, because every time we do this, we come up here and we get just a few more beekeepers in the city and in the county. And I brought some of them with me tonight. Would our fellow beekeepers stand up, please, from the Dubuque Swiss Valley Bee Club? So we brought them. And we also have, not only are we with the Swiss Valley Bee Club, we also have our president of the Iowa Honey Producers Association, hails from Bernard, Chris Prutz. He's our new president this year. I serve as District 2 Director for the IHPA and the state lobbyist, so look at me go. It's fantastic. March 26th, Governor Reynolds will proclaim Iowa as the in Iowa Honeybee Day. We have over 4,500 beekeepers in the state of Iowa. We have over 50 right here in the city and in the county. And I want to express the gratitude of the city of Topeka, Parks and Rec, Public Works, and all the other departments for really from No Mow May to promoting the plantings, flower plantings in the medians, expansion of the flower projects and the flower budget for this year. These are all pollinators that help our honeybees, and they're not just the honeybees, but also the other bees and the other pollinators in the area. With No Mow May, of course, I have to make the pitch Please do not clean out your flower beds just quite yet. Wait until about the end of May. Let the dandelions grow, because the bees and the other pollinators who are emerging from the ground and from their hives, a lot of times this is their first food. It provides the pollen and provides the nectar, so they can take that back to the hives and start producing more butterflies, more bees, more insects for us to enjoy. So it adds a little bit of color to your lawn. Leave the dandelions alone. So we also like to thank you for allowing we have a pilot program, no pun intended, at the city airport, where we have a beehive. Country View Honey has a beehive out there, and we've single-handedly increased landings and takeoffs by 40,000 per day. So, God, I have been waiting 6 months for that joke. So, but thank you very much. For anybody interested in becoming a beekeeper, Mike, that was funny. On the inside, I get it. For anybody who's interested in the Swiss Valley Bee Club or becoming a beekeeper, we have a mentor program. You can find us on Facebook at Dubuque Swiss Valley Bee Club, or just look for your neighbors that might have bees. And also, please support your beekeepers. Go down to the farmer's market, winter's market, summer market. Purchase local honey, because the honey you produce, you buy at the stores, the main grocery stores. I'm not going to name names. A lot of times, over 1/3 of that honey is not real honey. It's corn syrup mixed with honey, so they can get their profits a little bit. So keep it in the city, keep it in the county. Let's enjoy the local pollens and our honey and our honey products. And I thank you very much.
Well, thank you, HR. When's your next stand-up gig, by the way?
Tomorrow morning, isn't it, Marie?
Tomorrow morning. Well, in all seriousness, thank you so much. I love to hear that this proclamation and this event every single year has started to help you grow as an organization, and it's great that all of you are able to join us here tonight. Thanks for the work that you do in doing this and encouraging us in the way that you do, reminding us about things that are as basic as what we do at our own homes matters for the environment around us. So thank you very much for that, and thanks for being here to accept this proclamation. City of Dubuque proclamation. Whereas honeybees and native insects are important as pollinators for 1/3 of the food we eat, honeybees are vital in production of over 90 crops grown across the nation, many of which are in northeast Iowa. Honeybees contribute significantly to the biodiversity and food security of our community by assuring the availability of fruits, vegetables, nuts, and flowers for wildlife. And whereas Iowa's 45,000 or more honeybee hives produce about 2 million pounds of honey valued at over $9 million, and honeybees provide an estimated $92 million in economic value to Iowa crops from their pollination. And whereas the City of Dubuque promotes programs such as No Mow May, delaying the removal of vital undergrowth of trees and leaves, which provide shelter and food to bees and other pollinators, designs in trails, roundabouts, and pocket parks with pollinator floral plantings, and promotion of minimalistic approach to pesticides and herbicides in city parks and ornamental gardens. And whereas honeybees face serious threats from invasive pests and disease, decreasing bee-friendly habitat, human inattention, variable climate, and pesticide and herbicide pressure. And whereas the Dubuque community encourages and promotes many types of urban pollination programs with grants, classes, and clubs. It is estimated there are over 40 urban beehives in the city of Dubuque, whose bees are pollinating many types of trees, plants, flowers, and other blooming flora throughout the spring, summer, and fall. These beekeepers consume, donate, and sell their honey, thus promoting small businesses. And now, therefore, I, Brad M. Kavanaugh, Mayor of the City of Dubuque, Iowa, on behalf of the City Council, staff, and residents of Dubuque, do hereby proclaim the 26th of March, 2025 as Honeybee Day in the City of Dubuque, Iowa. Thanks a lot, HR. See you, Chris. How you doing? Thanks a lot, everybody. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
We will now move on to consent items. At this time, anyone participating in the meeting in person who would like to discuss one of the consent items, please approach the podium when the mayor asks if there is any in-person input and state your name and address. For all remote attendees, please enter your name and address in the chat function or state your name and address over the phone when the mayor asks if there is any virtual input. If more than one participant would like to speak, then city staff will determine the speaking order of the participants. Please state the item you would like removed from the consent agenda for separate discussion and consideration, and consent items can be found on pages 2 through 4 of the agenda.
Thank you, Adrian. Do we have anybody here in chambers who would like to remove any of the consent items for separate discussion this evening? Seeing no one. Anything virtually?
No. No input.
All right, back to the table then.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Resnick.
I move to receive and file the documents, adopt the resolutions, and deal with the consent items as recommended.
Second by Farber.
Got a motion by Resnick and a second by Farber. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank.
Aye.
Farber.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Jones.
That motion passes 7-0.
Next are items set for public hearing. We have 3. First is setting public hearing for a proposed development agreement between the City of Dubuque, Iowa and Groening Development Incorporated for March 17th, 2025. Second is Hebe Street Reconstruction Project, initiate public bidding process and set date for public hearing for April 7th, 2025. And third is Hebe Street Reconstruction Project, special assessments and set date for public hearing for April 7th, 2025.
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Roussel.
I move to receive and file, adopt the resolutions, and set the public hearings for the dates specified.
Second by Sprang.
Motion by Roussel, second by Sprank. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank.
Aye.
Farber.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0.
Next are boards and commissions. We have appointments for the Catfish Creek Watershed Management Authority, the Civic Center Advisory Commission, and the Historic Preservation Commission.
All right, we have a lot of names here. So I just want to start by saying thank you to everyone who has applied. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of applications for boards and commissions, and we sincerely appreciate people stepping up to serve in this way. We're not going to be able to elect everyone that's on this list tonight. I encourage people who don't get elected in this round to please continue to step forward. I think it's just great to continue to have this many great applicants that are going after these positions. So first up, we have the Catfish Creek Watershed Management Authority. We have one 4-year term through July 16th, 2028, and one applicant, Rachel Boki. I'll entertain a motion here, please.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Jones.
I move that Rachel Bulkey be appointed to the vacant term.
Second?
Got a motion by Jones, second by Resnick. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank.
Aye.
Farber.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
That motion passes 7-0. Next up, we've got the Civic Center Advisory Commission, and here we have one 3-year term through June 29th, 27, and then two 3-year terms through June 29th, 25. We're going to take each of these terms separately. So for the first one, the one 3-year term through June 29th, 2027, I will ask Adrian to please call the roll, and we will each choose a name here, please.
Sprank.
Alan Schumacher.
Farber.
Myers.
Kavanaugh.
Alan Schumacher.
Resnick.
Sarah Tandy.
Roussel.
Sarah Tandy.
Wethel.
Colleen Myers.
Jones.
Alan Schumacher.
All right, so Alan Schumacher is appointed to the first 3-year term through June 29th, 27. Next up, we have a 3-year term that goes through June 29th, 25. So I'll ask Adrian to call the roll again, please.
Sprank.
Sarah Tandy? Is that yeah.
Correct.
Farber.
Colleen Myers.
Kavanaugh.
Sarah Tandy.
Resnick.
Sarah Tandy.
Roussel.
Sarah Tandy.
Wethel.
Sarah Tandy.
Jones.
Sarah Tandy.
All right, so Sarah Tandy is appointed to that term through June 29th, 25. And then one more of those terms through June 29th, 25. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank.
Colleen Myers.
Farber.
Colleen Myers.
Kavanaugh.
Colleen Myers.
Resnick.
Colleen Myers.
Roussel.
Colleen Myers.
Wethel.
Colleen Myers.
Jones.
Ashley Reagan.
All right, so Colleen Myers is appointed to the third term. Okay. Historic Preservation Commission. Here we have one 3-year term through for the Langworthy District, and this term goes through July 1st, 2026. Then we have one more interim term that is for an interim term due to vacancies of the Old Main District and Cathedral District terms. So let's do the Langworthy District term first, please. So I will, oh, and I should say everyone's names here. Those who qualify for the Langworthy term are John Klingman, Corey Ruziska, and Chad Widoff. Did I miss anyone, Adrian or? Okay, thank you very much. So those three are for the Langworthy term. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank,
John Klingman.
Farber,
Chad Widoff.
Kavanaugh,
Chad Widoff.
Resnick,
Chad Witoff.
Roussel,
John Klingman.
Wethel,
Chad Widoff.
Jones.
Corey Ruzica.
Okay, so we have Chad Widoff is appointed to the three-year term for the Langworthy District. Next, we have an interim term, and the applicants for this term are Cole Hansen, Sandy Hockenberry, and Adam Schwendinger. So Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Mayor, I will just point out that the other applicants for the Langworthy District also technically are eligible for the interim as well.
Right, yeah, thanks for pointing that out, appreciate that. So, the only person that cannot be voted here is Chad Widoff, because he was already appointed. So, Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank,
Adam Schwindinger.
Farber,
Adam Schwendiger.
Kavanaugh,
Sandy Hockenberry.
Resnick,
Adam Schwendinger.
Roussel,
Sandy Hockenberry.
Wethel,
Sandy Hockenberry.
Jones.
Adam Schwendinger.
So Adam Schwendinger is appointed to the interim term to fill the vacancy. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Next are public hearings. At this time, anyone participating in the meeting in person who would like to discuss one of the public hearing items, please approach the podium when the mayor asks if there is any in-person input for the public hearing you would like to speak to, and state your name and address. For all remote attendees, please enter your name and address in the chat function and state your question, or state your name and address over the phone when the mayor asks if there is any virtual input for the public hearing you would like to speak to. If more than one participant would like to speak, then city staff will determine the speaking order of the participants. Public hearing number 1 is resolution approving a proposed development agreement by and among the City of Dubuque, Iowa, FEH Realty LLC, and FEH Associates Incorporated.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Sprank.
I motion that we receive and file and adopt the resolution.
Second by Wethel.
Motion by Sprank, second by Wethel. Mike, please.
Thank you. Economic Development Director Jill Connors is recommending City Council approval of a resolution approving a development agreement by and among the City of Dubuque, FEH Realty, and FEH Associates, providing for the issuance of urban renewal tax increment revenue grant obligations. To accommodate the need for larger office space as well as a need for increased staff, FEH Realty, a subsidiary of FEH Associates, purchased 902 Main Street with the intent to rehabilitate the existing structure into a unique office space. In addition to addressing necessary roof repairs and other structural issues, FEH will transform the facade of the structure to revitalize this important downtown building. FEH is proposing a $2.5 million restoration project that will positively impact this highly visible corner of Main Street. The key elements of the development agreement include the following. Number 1, FEH Realty will make a capital investment of approximately $2.5 million to rehabilitate the property. Number 2, FEH Associates must maintain its existing 11 full-time equivalent positions and create at least 10 new full-time equivalent positions by October 1, 2028. 21 full-time equivalent positions must be maintained through the term of the agreement. Number 3, FEH Realty will receive 10 years of tax increment financing incentives in the form of semi-annual rebates. Tax increment financing incentives are estimated not to exceed $115,000. Number 4, city to award a downtown rehabilitation grant not to exceed $35,000 pending final design approval. Number 5, the City of Dubuque will amend the Greater Downtown Urban Renewal District Plan to accommodate the issuance of tax increment financing incentives. I concur with the recommendation and respectfully request Mayor and City Council approval.
Thank you, Mike. We are in a public hearing to consider City Council approve a resolution approving a development agreement by and among the City of Dubuque, Iowa, and FEH Realty, LLC, and FEH Associates Incorporated, providing for the issuance of urban renewal tax increment revenue grant obligations. Do we have anyone here in chambers to address us on this item? Seeing no one here, anything virtually?
No. No input.
Thank you. All right, back to the table then for any discussion.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Sprank.
looking forward to approving this because here the FEH is going to be revitalizing a building that needs a lot of attention, so excited to see more development in our downtown.
Thank you, Mr. Sprank. Any comments, questions? I would just echo that. I think it's really exciting to see a local company like this being able to move essentially across the street to a place that's really needing some help. So I'm glad to see that somebody's taken this on, and glad that we've been able to come to a development agreement here. All right, motion here is to receive and file and adopt the resolution. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank.
Aye.
Farber.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
That motion passes 7-0.
Public hearing number 2 is approving a proposed development agreement between the City of Dubuque, Iowa and Dubuque Racing Association Limited.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Resnick.
I move to receive and file and adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion by Resnick, second by Jones. Mike, please.
Thank you. Economic Development Director Jill Connors is recommending City Council adopt the attached resolution approving a proposed development agreement by and between the City of Dubuque and the Dubuque Racing Association, including the issuance of urban renewal tax increment revenue grant obligations. Due to the emergent and ongoing need for additional hotel rooms in the community to accommodate not only the proposed improvements on Chaplain Schmidt Island, but also in response to the substantial development at the Field of Dreams, the City Council has authorized the use of tax increment financing to incentivize the development of hotels. The DRA has brought a formal proposal to the city staff to facilitate an investment of approximately $49 million for the development of the Key Hotel to be located on Chaplain Schmidt Island. The Key Hotel will be a part of the Tapestry Collection by the Hilton portfolio. The boutique property will feature 7 floors with 90 total rooms and suites, as well as a much-anticipated rooftop restaurant and bar, complete with additional event space. The addition of a new hotel represents Phase 4 of a multi-year $83 million plus renovation and expansion effort being undertaken by Q Casino and Resort. The transition to a full-service resort is also a key part of the overall master plan for Chaplain Schmidt Island, and these investments in Q Casino and Resort, including the addition of a new boutique hotel, will help Dubuque attract even more people to the community. Construction of the hotel is underway and is scheduled to be substantially completed by September 30th, 2026. When the DRA began construction of this hotel, the city was not offering tax increment financing rebates for hotel construction, but because the city has seen the demand for hotel rooms that currently exist in the community and the demand that is being created with the new Field of Dreams projects, which estimates 61,000 hotel rooms a year, and with other prominent projects like the Dubuque Museum of Art campus and the John and Alice Butler School of Osteopathic Medicine being built in downtown Dubuque by the University of Dubuque, the City Council has approved the use of tax increment financing for hotel projects. When a similar situation occurred with the need to create financial incentives to create new housing units, the City Council also offered the incentives to housing projects that were already underway to not disadvantage them when they came online. In addition, because the Key Hotel is being built on a former landfill site, they have extraordinary costs not experienced by other developers, and costs for materials have come in higher than expected. The proposed development agreement provides for city incentives, including urban renewal tax increment revenue grant obligation for 10 years of tax increment financing, rebates to encourage the development of a hotel on Chaplain Schmidt Island. I concur with the recommendation and respectfully request Mayor and City Council approval.
Thank you, Mike. We are in a public hearing to consider City Council adopt the attached resolution approving a proposed development agreement by and between the City of Dubuque and Dubuque Racing Association, the DRA, including the issuance of urban renewal tax increment revenue grant obligations. Do we have anyone here in chambers to address us on this item? Seeing no one here. Anyone virtually?
No? Nope, no input.
Thank you both. Back to the table then for any discussion. I will start by just pointing out that several of us do serve on the DRA board. So I serve Mr. Sprank, Mr. Jones, and Mr. Van Milligan. And all of us present for the votes that, when this went before the DRA, did abstain from that vote. I just wanted to point that out for the record so everybody would be aware of that. Mr. Resnick.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. Mr. Van Milligan, I was looking for the $49 million breakdown and how funding, what kind of funding, who's going to take care of what kind of amount. I'm just wondering, DRA is independently funding this through local and regional banks, and are there any federal funds, state funds involved? Do you know, as part of the 49 million?
No, they're not, but there is a loan from Dubuque Initiatives for $4 million, and that's what created the incentive for the rooftop amenities, the restaurant and meeting rooms.
Great, so none of this is in peril for federal and state funding is not involved, really?
Not in the hotel project, no.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, I know this is, all these things with the collaboration between the city and the DRA has been a long time coming, and we've been working really hard on this, and I appreciate everybody's work on it. This is one of those things that I think is going to be an incredibly exciting addition for the city of Dubuque, and especially this particular project. So I'm glad that we've been able to come to some sort of an agreement here and be able to continue to help this project along. But thank you to everybody for your work on it. Okay. Motion here is to receive and file and adopt the resolution. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank.
Aye.
Farber.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
That motion passes 7-0.
Public hearing number 3 is Second Amendment to the Dubuque Racing Association lease.
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Roussel.
I move to receive and file and adopt the resolution.
Second by Sprank.
Motion by Roussel, second by Sprank. Mike, please.
Thank you. The city of Dubuque, in conjunction with the, I'm sorry, this actually is Krena's item, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
That's good, Krena, because
I don't care.
I need to go back and,
That's fine. I'll take care of it. I was just going to let him. The City of Dubuque, in conjunction with the Dubuque Racing Association and community participants, have worked diligently for years to procure the Chaplain Schmidt Island Master Plan and the Schmidt Island Placemaking and Implementation Plan. As you know, the Chaplain Schmidt Island Master Plan was adopted in 2014 and later amended in 2017. The Chaplain Schmidt Island Placemaking and Implementation Plan was adopted in 2017. The goals of the plan were largely recreational focused and included connecting and expanding access to the riverfront, creation of educational opportunities on the island, highlighting the unique characteristics of the island, bringing new visitors in, and offering activities and events for all seasons. Work on implementation of the plans has been ongoing. The biggest project to date had been the Veterans Memorial, where a community project funding grant was received via Representative Hinson for construction of the Trailhead project and was just recently completed. In 2022, the city invested millions of dollars in improvements to Imont Arena, of which the improvements continue and are currently in process. The largest tenant on the island is the DRA, leasing and operating the Q Casino. And as you know, the DRA is in progress with approximately $90 million in public and private improvements to the island. Those improvements that are completed or proposed have included the Iowa Amphitheater on Chaplain Schmidt Island, the Veterans Memorial Trailhead Project, a proposed $40 million Chaplain Schmidt Island connectivity and access improvements, including the railroad overpass at 14th Street. Public improvement-wise, private improvements, construction of the new Hilton Tapestry Collection Hotel adjacent to the existing Hilton Garden Inn, the interior casino remodel, which included the elevated bar with the bar top slot machines, updated showroom, the new sports book, the new sports bar, the new banquet and party room spaces, the addition of the family entertainment zone for all ages with the high-end arcade games, exterior casino upgrades, including facade, signage, landscaping, and surface parking, and the hybrid golf entertainment facility, Pin Seekers. The private improvements to the island necessitate further amendment to the lease between the city and the DRA. And so a second lease amendment has been negotiated between the city and the DRA related to Lot 1 of Chaplain Schmidt Island, which is the parcel that contains the area where the casino, the existing hotel and restaurant, and the new hotel are located. The amendment will adjust the requirements of the debt payment reserve fund It includes a mechanism for the refinancing of the Hilton Garden Inn in the event the debt payment reserve fund dips below an agreed-upon level. It takes into account the development agreement, which you just approved with the DRA, and the rebate payments that the DRA will receive pursuant to that development agreement. And it allows allocation of the payments within the lease to the endowment fund to pay off the loan the DRA has on the Veterans Memorial for a term of fiscal years 24 through 28, or until that loan is paid in full. And with that, I respectfully request mayor and council approval.
Thank you very much, Brenna. We are in a public hearing to consider city council approve the Second Amendment to the Dubuque Racing Association lease. And is there anyone here in chambers to address us on this item? Seeing no one here, anyone virtually?
No? No input.
All right, back to the table then for any discussion. Mr. Jones.
I'll just say, if anybody hasn't been down on Schmidt Island recently, there's a hotel sticking up out of the ground pretty well, and it's becoming pretty obvious, and there's just a whole lot of other nice and new down there, and this is a piece of that puzzle that I'm proud to support.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Any other discussion? Mr. Resnick.
Mr. Mayor, so, Ms. Brumwell, this is complicated from your memo, it's complicated funding and work through. So could you tell us the process that this goes through? And was this a 4-month process, a 6-month, or, and love to hear about, you know, the whole, you know, people looking at this and approving this, and with, again, must have been a whole team of professionals. And I think the citizens would love to hear about the process.
I would love to tell you that it was simple, but I can't. We met, I couldn't even begin to tell you how many times with small groups and in larger groups, and at different times to talk about different structures, different components of the language that went into this. And that included both internally, the Economic Development Department, City Manager's Office staff, City Attorney's Office, and others as needed, whether it was Parks and Recreation or engineering or things of that nature, if there were questions. There is also a routine meeting related to Schmidt Island development that happens, that includes both participants from the DRA and the City of Dubuque, and that's a weekly meeting to check in on the progress and the things that are occurring on the island, and the impact, say, for example, construction and things of that nature is having, right? Timing of progress, things of that nature. But with regards to this specific lease, we worked with both Brian at the DRA and Attorney Tanya Trum to put this language together in many iterations, and that included meetings, emails, calls, video conferences, and lots of back and forth to get to the point where the language met the needs of both parties. So it was a rigorous progress.
Well, thank you.
process.
And you mentioned one situation with the debt reserve dipping and what happened for that. And so there's this always this question of acceptable risk, because you have a risk with this. You know, what is the acceptable risk for the citizens? But there's also the risk of inaction, too, right? So, and so a lot of people looked at this, and is there some kind of do you have some kind of a formula for, I mean, it's, there's a lot that goes into it. Is there some kind of formula for acceptable risk, or you look into the risk of inaction? Is there some of that as well?
Well, I think in a case like this, the risk is actually extremely minimal. You know, we have a longtime tenant, 40 years, that's had a 40-year track record of not just success, but tremendous success. And the way the system works in the state of Iowa with the gaming licensing, you know, they're the co-licensee of both the Q Casino and the Diamond Joe. And so they're our only dance partner available. The great thing about them being the only dance partner available is they're a really good one. So, yeah, I mean, I think the risk in this type of situation is extremely minimal.
Okay, thank you, and thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, thanks for that discussion. Motion here is to receive and file and adopt this resolution. So Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank.
Aye.
Farber.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel. Wethel.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
That motion passes 7-0.
Public hearing number 4 is public hearing for Bunker Hill Foundation Repair Project.
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Farber.
I move to receive and file and adopt the resolution.
Second by Wethel.
Motion by Farber, second by Wethel. Mike, please.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation Director Marie Ware is recommending City Council adopt the resolution approving the construction plans and specification, an estimated cost of $319,880 for the Bunker Hill Foundation Repair Project. I concur with the recommendation and respectfully request Mayor and City Council approval.
Thank you, Mike. We are in a public hearing to consider City Council adopt the resolution approving the construction plans and specifications and estimated cost of the Bunker Hill Foundation Repair Project. Do we have anyone here in chambers to address us on this item? Seeing hardly anyone left, I will see if there's anyone virtually.
No.
All right.
No
And
input.
back to the table then for any discussion.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Resnick.
I mean, we talked about, there's under the discussion section, it talked about the different things that are going to be done. And most of it looks like it is maintenance, and I'm sure it really needs to be done. Is there going to be any kind of a change in the way, you walk through and then you have, because we did have something a few years ago where we worked on the clubhouse for some new facilities. So is that going to remain the same, basically the floor plan, and then this is mostly just routine maintenance, concrete sidewalk, pavement, roof access, stairwell removal? It doesn't seem like there's anything major in this. Is that how we're doing this?
I'm going to ask Park and Rec Director Marie Ware to address your question, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Marie Ware, and I'm the Parks and Recreation Director. This project does not affect the golf when you come into the clubhouse area, into the bar area, and can go in to be able to get all signed up and get out on the course. The only thing will be is there'll be a temporary disruption while we do this work, because everything in the front, the whole front of the building will all be dug up. And so people will have to go around temporarily to the back and enter through the east doors versus normally they enter through the west doors. The rest of the project really is basement work, except for on the southern part where we're enclosing that stairwell. So there's a lot of work being done. It's a little more than maintenance. It's actually fixing some major problems. So maintenance to me would be just replace the windows or something like that. This is actually to take care of the water problems that we have inside the building.
Do we still have offices upstairs? So
Yeah. If you're familiar with the building itself, we used to have another entrance, another door that went into our reception area. When we moved the reception area to the Multicultural Family Center, we then closed that door off and made additional offices in that area. And currently on the first floor, Community Impact is there until they can then move to the second floor of the Multicultural Family Center. So there's offices on the first level, and then we have offices on the second level, which are mainly the recreation staff, but also our project and facilities manager, myself, and our lead administrative assistant are on the second floor.
great. And thank you very much for that information.
You're
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other discussion or questions? All right. Seeing and hearing none. Thanks, Marie, for your explanation. All right, motion here is to receive and file, adopt the resolution. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank.
Aye.
Farber.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
That motion passes 7-0.
We'll move on to public input. At this time, anyone participating in the meeting may address the City Council on the action items on the agenda or on matters under the control of the City Council. For all in-person attendees, please approach the podium and state your name and address when the mayor asks if there is any in-person input. For all remote attendees, please enter your name and address in the chat function or state your name and address over the phone when the mayor asks if there is any virtual input. If more than one participant would like to speak, then city staff will determine the speaking order of the participants. Individual remarks are limited to 5 minutes, and the overall public input period is limited to 30 minutes. Under the Iowa Open Meetings Law, the City Council can take no formal action on comments given during public input or that do not relate to the action items on the agenda.
Thank you, Adrian. I don't think we have any public input this evening, but I'll ask. Do we have any members of the public that'd like to speak? Okay. Seeing none here. Anything virtually tonight?
No input.
Thank you very much. We can move on to action items then.
Action item number 1 is I'm on Ice Arena Dehumidification System Upgrade Project, Award Public Improvement Project.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Jones.
move to receive and file the documents and adopt the resolution.
Second.
We've got a motion by Jones, second by Sprank. Mike, please.
Thank you. Assistant City Engineer Bob Schissel is recommending City Council award the public improvement contract for the Imon Ice Arena Dehumidification System Upgrade Project to Geezy Sheet Metal in the amount of $308,950. The city received sealed bids on February 20th for the Imon Ice Arena Dehumidification System Upgrade Project. Geezy Sheet Metal submitted the low bid in the amount of $308,950, which is 241% below the consultant's estimate. A summary of the bid proposals received is as follows: Geezy at the price I named, Tricon General Construction at $343,000, and Ports and Construction at $373,000. Upon reviewing the lump sum bids received, there was a $64,000 difference between the low and high bid received. This reasonably tight difference in bids indicates that the scope of work in the construction bid documents was clear and understandable to the bidders, which resulted in the competitive bids received. The Nelson, Rudy and Associates team included a subconsultant, RJM Construction, that specializes in preparing pre-construction cost estimates for your municipal, architectural, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing projects. The bids received were significantly below the estimate of probable cost prepared by that consultant team. I concur with the recommendation and respectfully request Mayor and City Council approval.
Thank you, Mike. Any discussion on this one? Seeing and hearing none. All right, motion here is to receive and file, adopt the resolution. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank.
Aye.
Farber.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Action item number 2 is Southgate Drive Sanitary Sewer Improvements Project, Award Public Improvement Contract.
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Wethel.
I move to receive and file and adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion by Wethel, second by Jones. Mike, please.
Thank you. City Engineer Gus Sahoyas is recommending City Council award the public improvement contract for the Southgate Drive Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project to Chick-fil-A Excavating the amount of $196,666.80, which is 1.58% above the engineer's estimate. I concur with the recommendation and respectfully request Mayor and City Council approval.
Thank you, Mike. Any discussion? Seeing none and hearing none. Motion here is to receive and file, adopt the resolution. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank.
Aye.
Farber.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Wethel. Jones.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Next are council member reports.
Reports this evening.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Jones.
Solid Waste Agency Board met on February 19th, and we're stuck in that is it a grant or isn't it a grant conundrum that we spoke about at the earlier meeting. We're trying to get that Customer Convenience Center project off the ground, and we recently awarded a grant for a portion of that relative to battery recycling. We're not sure the status of that, and we're going to run out of time on the bids and perhaps end up having to rebid it, which is a shame because everybody's hand is exposed when you bid something and need to do that anyhow. We're hoping to have a good outcome there. I was at an almost ribbon cutting on Tuesday last week for Nicole Harvey's new shop on Bluff Street, Elite Organics. Unfortunately, through an error at some point, some place in the chain, we were all invited for an 11:30 event, and it had concluded by 11:15 when I got there, so I didn't get to participate in the ribbon cutting, but I tried. DRA board, a bunch of us were at the 25th, a bunch of us were at the City Assessors Conference Committee on February 27th. And last Saturday night at the United Labor Participation Dinner meeting, we saw some good Dubuquers inducted into the Labor Hall of Fame, Pat Schwendinger and Larry Murphy. Larry is the father of Senator Larry Murphy Jr. and former Speaker of the House, Pat Murphy. So Larry did okay. His induction was posthumous, but talk about I won't call it rags to riches because he never achieved riches, but he sure raised some great kids. And two of our good friends were inducted into the Friends of Labor Hall of Fame, former Senator Bob Carr and former Representative and Greater Dubuque Development Chair Rick Dickinson. So it was a great evening, and I was proud to be there. On the sadder side of things, I lost a couple of friends from the fire service this week. Fire Chief Dan Brown certainly left a mark on the fire department. He made us better. We're all better because he was there. His observation early on when he came in, we'd all kind of got fragmented, working on EMS, working on hazardous materials, and not really working so much on fire suppression. And Dan kind of got us refocused on how important that was to us. It's easy to get lost in the fact that you run EMS calls all day and an occasional fire call, but the one where a lot more people's lives are at risk, including our own, is that fire and getting it right. So, my God, they've got it right now. The things that we launched in that day built the foundation to make accreditation possible in the last couple of years. So, fire department's in way better shape because Dan was there. Also lost a guy who came on just a week after I did. Mike Gabriel came on as a firefighter and retired as a lieutenant. He enjoyed a little longer retirement than I did, so Dan got really shortchanged. But they'll both be missed by the community, and they both left a mark. Mike was also the union president for a number of years and did a lot of things to improve the lot of firefighters. So that's what I've been up to.
Thanks, Mr. Jones.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, Ms.
Just
Farmer.
want to also give a shout out to Saturday night's event. The group of attendees for the union are so hale and hearty, so loyal, and it's this is my fourth year, I think, attending, and it's just like a family reunion. And everybody was just wonderful conversation, wonderful comments from the award winners as well. But I just have to give them a shout out because it was just a really great award ceremony and just a lot of I think, fellowship that night.
Thank you, Ms. Farber. Mr. Sprague.
Yeah, our last meeting, I was calling in because I was on a vacation, but this is a civic duty. This is what you do. So you're always here to the meeting. So that's why I wasn't here in person last time, but I was still here virtually. The reason I'm looking at my phone because of my calendar, because it's much easier to, rather than writing the things down that Mr. Jones mentioned, because we were at about half of the same things where we were both at the DRA. We were both at that wonderful event for the Federation of Labor. I know tonight we're here, of course. I've got a Point Neighborhood Association tomorrow night meeting. And then I'm going to be Wednesday driving a van of folks from the mobile home parks down to Des Moines to be lobbying for them to try to do something, because that's a just cause. So that's going to be what I've got coming up so far this week. So yeah, but thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Sprague. Any others? Well, I'll just have two things. One, did go to Des Moines on the 19th, spent a Wednesday in Des Moines talking to our local legislators. And, one of the things that I really appreciate from our local legislators is the time they give us when we show up. Was able to have some sit-down meetings with a couple different legislators, able to pull some off the floor in between subcommittee hearings and things that were going on at the time. A lot of action at the Iowa State Legislature this year. They are, I believe, They were on track as of that Wednesday, and I think they've surpassed it. They've actually proposed more legislation this year than ever before, than any legislature in the past. So it's a very busy year. It's very important that we continue to have as many conversations as possible with our local legislators as we try to make sure that we're all doing our best for the people that we represent. Speaking of good things going on, we had an air service forum last Friday, and it was thrown by the Chamber of Commerce and had well over 100 people in attendance at the Hotel Julian. One of the folks in attendance was actually one of the vice presidents from Denver Air Connection, who announced some pretty exciting news during that time, that they are going to be moving to morning flights several days a week at the Dubuque Regional Airport. This is something we've been working on with them for a while. And we're very hopeful that we would be able to move this forward, and it sounds like we are moving it forward. So there's not a date yet, but hopefully as soon as we can. Likely the earliest would be sometime May, June-ish, and everyone will have good advance notice about this. But I think it'll be very helpful for the business community. They've been asking for this in particular, to be the ability to be able to leave Dubuque early in the morning, and then that plane would be overnight here, it would be the plan, so that they would be able to come in at night and next flight again in the morning, so that would be great. There's also a possibility that was mentioned out loud that we may actually get flights to Denver from Denver Air Connection as well. So very excited to hear this. The one thing I'll say is Denver Air has been a great partner so far and is really working hard on our behalf. So I really appreciate all their work, appreciate the work of everyone on this council and the DBQ Air group that is working hard to keep our flights and try to increase them. So thanks to everybody. Okay, we have a closed session, so I'll entertain a motion, please.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Jones.
Move that the City Council go into closed session in accordance with Chapter 21.5 of the Code of Iowa to discuss pending litigation and purchase or sale of real estate.
Second.
Got a motion by Jones, second by Resnick. For the record, the attorney the City Council will be consulting with on the issues to be discussed in closed session is City Attorney Kerner Brumwell. Adrian, would you call the roll, please?
Sprank.
Aye.
Farber.
Aye.
Kavanaugh. Resnick.
Aye.
Roussel.
Aye.
Wethel.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Passes 7-0. We are in closed session.